We all love a good challenge, but some games are just way too tough or frustrating for beginners. Well, in this video, I'm going to highlight some of the toughest, most punishing games out there that will make you question your skills. So if you're the type who gets game rage every time you lose a level, you might want to stay away from these. Before we jump into the video, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel. I won't say I upload daily, but I definitely post at least once a week. Your support really motivates me to make more videos like this. Thank you, and without further ado, let's get into the video. Think of Ghostrunner as Hotline Miami, but in first person. And just like in Hotline Miami, death comes fast, like a single hit fast. Most enemies are packing pistols, machine guns, and a whole bunch of other ways to end your run. Even if you're a seasoned FPS player, you're going to die a lot. But when it clicks, it's more fun than frustrating. If it doesn't click, it can get pretty annoying. This is one of those games where muscle memory is key if you want to get good, and some players might absolutely love that challenge, while others, not so much. In Ghostrunner, you're stuck in first person, so you can't really plan ahead all that well. Sometimes the game lets you scope out the area before diving in, but most of the time, you're going in blind, relying on your reflexes, or just trial and error to get through. While Hotline Miami is a top-down game with pixel art graphics, Ghostrunner is a first-person game that puts you right in the action. This means you won't always have a clear view of what's coming, and you'll need to rely on your instincts and quick thinking to get through tough fights. The game's rhythm can take some getting used to, and some players might find it tough to adjust. But if you're willing to put in the time and effort, you'll eventually get the hang of it. And when you do, it's an incredibly satisfying feeling. So if you're up for a challenge and are looking for a game that will push your skills to the limit, Ghostrunner is definitely worth checking out. Just be prepared to die a lot and don't get discouraged if you don't pick it up right away. With practice and patience, you'll be slicing through enemies like a pro in no time. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is a challenging action game that has gained a reputation for its steep learning curve and high difficulty. It's clear that you've put in some serious time and effort to improve, and you're not alone in your struggles. Many players, especially beginners, find the game incredibly tough at first. If you want to stand a chance, you've got to master parries and counters. Seriously, that's the whole game. Timing is everything, and death can come out of nowhere in just a few seconds. It doesn't take many hits to get wiped out, and even with extra lives, it's still incredibly tough. When you're starting out, even basic enemies can feel like a big challenge. I can't even count how many times I struggled against that first ogre mini-boss. Felt like this thing was impossible, but with enough persistence, even someone with terrible reflexes can get through it eventually. The key skill in Sekiro is pattern recognition. You have to watch the enemies carefully and figure out the exact right moment to counter. If you can do that, you'll start improving fast. But if you're impatient and keep spamming the block button, you're just going to get frustrated. Sure, sometimes spamming block can work in a pinch, but if you nail the timing on your parries, you'll perform way better in the long run. Bottom line, Sekiro is tough. No matter how skilled you think you are, you're still gonna die a lot. It's a game that doesn't let up, especially for beginners. If you're new to it, don't expect it to be fun unless you enjoy dying over and over again. Maybe you do, and that's fine. No judgment here, just know what you're getting into before you dive in. If you're someone who finds it hard to beat levels or struggles with tricky controls, Cuphead might not be the game for you. This game is known for its brutal difficulty and is designed to challenge even the most experienced players. The story kicks off with Cuphead losing a bet to the devil, and now he has to collect souls from various debtors to save his own. You'll fight through a series of wild bosses and tough levels, dodging bullets, jumping platforms, and trying not to die. The game takes inspiration from 1930s cartoons complete with jazzy music and quirky characters. Even though Cuphead offers a simple mode for less skilled players, it limits the experience by cutting out certain boss phases and barring access to the final stages of the game. To fully complete Cuphead, players must beat every boss on regular difficulty. For those who aren't skilled at video games, Cuphead can feel like an endless cycle of failure. Every death sends you back to the start of the level or boss fight without checkpoints or health recovery options. While some players find joy in learning patterns and improving through trial and error, others may find it infuriating. Cuphead demands patience. Sometimes you'll find yourself stuck on the same boss or level for hours trying to learn the patterns and improve your skills. This game is perfect for players who enjoy the feeling of overcoming challenges after many attempts. But if you're the type to get frustrated quickly or don't have the time to practice, you might want to think twice before diving into Cuphead. Capcom took the legendary Ghosts and Goblins from the NES and somehow managed to make it even harder. And when I say harder, I mean brutally, soul-crushingly hard. You'd think that with a modern update, they'd throw in a few quality of life improvements, maybe make it a bit smoother for new players, right? Well, they did add some modern touches, but then they cranked up the difficulty so high it feels like a challenge to your very willpower. The first level is ridiculously hard, and it only gets worse from there. Right from the start, you're hit with swarms of enemies and traps that seem to come out of nowhere. It's a relentless test of patience and skill at every turn. If you're into punishing yourself, there's a certain twisted satisfaction in dying over and over, inching your way forward. But if platformers aren't your thing, well, this game won't make it easy for you to keep going. The original Ghosts and Goblins on the NES looked a lot simpler. I mean, it was tough, but the art style was a little basic. Today, tough games are a big deal again, with some of the most popular titles being pretty hardcore. But Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection takes that difficulty to an extreme level. It's just too much. If you're not great at platformers, do yourself a favor and steer clear of this one. Your sanity will thank you. When you jump into an online game, you expect it to be a bit tricky, right? I mean, playing against real people is always going to be more challenging than playing against AI. But Tarkov takes it to a whole new level. Everything in this game is designed to test your skills, from the complex controls to the super basic in-game map. And don't even get me started on the lack of tutorials. You'll be figuring things out as you go for better or for worse. Even simple tasks like healing or customizing your gun can be confusing and frustrating. You'll need to gather multiple items and figure out how they work together, all while navigating the game's complex systems. And the AI enemies, they're pinpoint accurate and will take you down in a heartbeat. As an extraction game, Tarkov also comes with a high level of risk. If you die, you'll lose all your gear that's not insured, which can be a major setback. The best players have modded out weapons and body armor, making it tough for newbies to compete. So, is Tarkov right for you? If you're a seasoned gamer who's looking for a challenge, then this game might be perfect. You'll need to be patient, willing to learn, and able to handle frustration. But if you're new to shooters or get discouraged easily, you might want to start with something a little more forgiving. Playing Tarkov as your first shooter is like jumping into the deep end without knowing how to swim. It's not impossible, but it's definitely not the easiest way to start. So if you're up for the challenge, then dive on in. But if you're looking for a more relaxed gaming experience, you might want to look elsewhere. There are plenty of tough roguelikes out there, but Spelunky 2 takes things to a whole new level. At first glance, Spelunky 2 might look like a cute little platformer, but don't be fooled. This game is a relentless test of your endurance and mental fortitude. Every single element in the game is designed to kill you. Traps, enemies, and even the environment itself are out to get you. You play as the world's most fragile platforming character who can take damage from falling just a little more than half the screen, and the game is all about going downward, which means the challenges just keep piling up. There are no autosaves, no checkpoints to fall back on. If you die, your progress gets reset and you have to start all over again. Some roguelikes have a progression system, so dying isn't that bad, but Spelunky 2 is old school. The best you can get is eventually starting from lower levels, which isn't going to help if you're not good at the game. In the original Spelunky, things would start getting serious around the ice cave, which is the third area out of 4. But Spelunky 2 doesn't waste any time. They're out to kill you from the very first area, and it only gets more sadistic from there. This game is basically for players who crushed the first game and are hungry for an even bigger challenge. If you're up for the challenge and love the thrill of overcoming seemingly impossible odds, Spelunky 2 is an absolute gem. It's a game that will push you to your limits and reward you with a sense of accomplishment that few other games can match. But if you're looking for a casual, easygoing experience, you might want to look elsewhere. At first glance, The Binding of Isaac Rebirth might look like a simple top-down shooter with cartoonish graphics, but don't be fooled. This game is brutal. Every time you play, the levels change, the enemies pop up in different spots, and the items you find are totally unpredictable. One run might give you powerful weapons and make you feel unstoppable, while the next might leave you struggling with weak abilities and barely any health. You never know what you're going to get, which means you have to constantly adapt and make the best of whatever the game throws at you. The bosses in The Binding of Isaac are another nightmare. Each one has its own unique attack patterns, and many of them can fill the entire screen with bullets, lasers, or swarms of enemies. Some move so fast that you barely have time to react, while others have multiple phases changing their attack style halfway through the fight. Even when you think you've got the hang of beating one, the game has a way of surprising you with a new, deadlier version later on. When you die, that's it. There are no checkpoints, no extra lives, and no second chances. You lose everything and have to start over from the very beginning. This can be incredibly frustrating, especially if you were on a great run with powerful items. Despite its difficulty, The Binding of Isaac Rebirth has a dedicated fanbase that loves its deep gameplay. If you enjoy tough challenges and don't mind failing over and over again, you might love it. But if you're the kind of player who easily gives up when things get too hard, this game will absolutely break you. Rainbow Six Siege is a bit of a different beast compared to your typical first-person shooter. Sure, everyone's got a gun and there's plenty of shooting, but it's the siege aspect that sets it apart and can make it a tough nut to crack for newbies. Players can smash through doors, break through walls, or even drop in from above. No matter where you are, enemies can strike from any direction depending on the operators and their abilities. And trust me, each operator has unique skills that can be pretty tricky to get the hang of. Understanding how each one works is key to doing well in the game. The game is pretty complicated with a lot of moving parts, and teamwork is essential to pull off a win. In many game modes, dying is a big setback, so if you're just running around trying to boost your kill count, you'll quickly find out that Siege isn't that kind of game. If you're not careful, you'll be picked apart by your opponents. Getting good at Siege means having excellent accuracy and a solid understanding of the game's mechanics. You need to know where to place traps and how to counter them. You also have to be familiar with the operator's unique abilities and how to disable them. Plus, knowing each map is crucial, so you can predict where attacks might come from. There's a lot to learn, but even with all that knowledge, you still need fast reflexes and precision to succeed. This game doesn't really have a support role like other games, where you can hang back and let others do the heavy lifting. You need to pull your weight and be ready to step up. At first glance, it might look like a fun car-based soccer game that's perfect for just messing around. And yeah, it definitely is. But if you're planning to get serious and play against other real players, you can throw all those easygoing expectations right out the window. This game is hard, especially when you're facing off against veterans. The players in the competitive scene of Rocket League are not just good, they're extremely good. These folks know the game inside and out, and they're not going to cut you any slack. If you join a team as a newbie who has no idea what they're doing, expect your teammates to get pretty frustrated with you. Being a dead weight on the team is not a good look. If you want to play Rocket League online and actually contribute to your team, you need to put in the work. Even at the lower levels, you need to be able to perform some pretty tricky maneuvers as if they're second nature. Otherwise, you're just not adding much value to your team. And then there's the high-level play. When you start seeing the moves that the pros can pull off, it's mind-blowing. These players have a special set of skills that are perfect for Rocket League. There's just nothing else like it in the multiplayer space, which means the game has built a pretty hardcore community of players who can do some truly amazing stuff. And if you think playing solo is tough, try being on a team where everyone depends on you to pull your weight. It's a lot of pressure. Rocket League demands a lot from its players, and you've got to be prepared for that. I'm putting League of Legends in the title, but this is really a shout out to every Dota and Dota-like game out there. These games are super popular, but they can be really tough on players who aren't having the best day. In the community, there's a term for these players: feeders. If you're one, you might not be the most popular person on the team. In a regular game like Call of Duty, having a less skilled player on your team is definitely a setback, but in these games, it can feel like a disaster. Every time one of your teammates goes down, it's not just a setback for them, it's a significant boost for the opposing team. One of the things that makes these games so complicated is the huge variety of heroes or champions, each with their own abilities, mechanics, and counters. Learning how to play one champion is kind of like learning a new character in a fighting game, but with the added complexity of having to consider all the potential counters. If you're playing a character with weaknesses, you're at a big disadvantage against certain players who know how to exploit that. It's not just about mastering your own character, it's about understanding how the whole game works. And even though these games are top-down, they still require a high level of precision and skill to play effectively. For some players, that's the thrill of it all. But for others, it can be incredibly frustrating, especially if you're not naturally naturally good at these games. If you're bad at them, well, it's pretty much all misery. So yeah, if you're not prepared for that kind of pressure, League and games like it can be pretty rough, but if you're into the challenge and ready to put in the effort, these games can definitely be super rewarding. Alright, that's it for today's list of games you should avoid if you're not a hardcore gamer. Let me know in the comments if you played any of these, or if another game should have made the list. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more gaming content, and hit the bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.